I recently shared a video here about phrasing. I was talking about when we're improvising, we think about the downbeat and playing things in relation to the downbeat. We can start a line right on the beat, or we could start a line early that leads into the downbeat, or we could just let the downbeat go by and then play something after it. And each one of these has a slightly different feel to it and a slightly different effect for the listener. And I think, as we play, we're listening, so it also has an effect on us as we continue to play and improvise. I got a lot of comments and feedback from that video, so I decided to do another video about phrasing. This is that video. And so here I want to talk not about where we start, but about where we end. What I found is that a lot of guitar players don't think about ending their phrases. They just start playing and they know, like, well, I've got my scale and I'm going to just play until I run out of steam or run out of string or whatever. I don't know if that's really something particular to guitar players, but I'm a guitar player. I teach guitar, so I encounter this a lot. Whatever instrument you happen to play, maybe this is something that you've thought about. So when I was trying to work this out for myself years ago, I went to study with a clarinet player named Ben Goldberg, and he showed me an exercise that I thought was really valuable to work on ending phrases. So we're going to play 2 bars of music in 4/4 time. It's going to sound like, I'll just play the time for you. I've got a metronome here. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. So that's it. That's the amount of time. And we're going to think about eighth notes as the subdivision within there. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we're going to pick a note somewhere in the second measure just because we don't want to stop our line before we get started. So let's find a stopping point somewhere in the second measure. Let's say the and of 3. So that would be something like this. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, and 3, and. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, and. So we can play whatever we like. We can rest, we can get busy, whatever, but we have to end in that particular place. So let's do that. 2, 3, 4, now I'll play. 1, 2. If you're not already counting out loud, or at least in your head as I play, you should be, because that's going to help you find that and of 3. 2, 3, 4, now I will play. 2, 3. I'll do it again. I'll change to the key of D and give us a new sound. And whatever style of music you're into, you could apply this to. I'm kind of playing, I guess, somewhere between jazz and blues. If you're really into jazz, you could take this 2-bar chunk and make it a 2/5. So you're playing over a 2/5. If you tend to play music where the chords don't change a lot, then I would just stay on one chord. If you play music that's a little bit more free and not tied to harmony so much, you could do this exercise without thinking of any particular chord or scale and just play whatever pitches you like. So that's basically the exercise. And I was surprised that it was challenging when Ben showed me this exercise years ago, and I found that a lot of my students also find it challenging. So hopefully you also will find it challenging in a good way to just keep your eye on where you're going to land, and you can do whatever you want. Your creativity and invention will hopefully take care of the rest for you, and just keep focused on where you're going to land. Here's some variations that you might want to try. Do this with a 4-bar phrase. So same exercise, but instead of trying to find some place to stop in bar 2, we're going to end in bar 4. A lot of music happens in 4-bar phrases. You could also think in a 4-bar phrase, but stop somewhere in the 3rd measure and just have a whole bar of rest there at the end of the 4-bar phrase. You could try this with an 8-bar phrase. That's maybe as long as you'd want to go until you really feel comfortable with it. Over time, you could be thinking, maybe you could stretch this to be thinking 16 bars ahead or 32 bars ahead. It's really a great practice to see how far ahead you can think, so that when you start a line, you're actually looking to land farther and farther ahead. And that can really help you be a real master of phrasing, like when you can think in those kind of larger forms. But for now, 2 bars is fine. If you want to get into 4 bars or 8 bars, that's one variation. Another variation would be to think about an 8-bar phrase where you do the stopping point 2 times in a row. So that's going to carry you into 4 bars, right? 2 bars and 2 bars. And then in what would be bars 5 and 6, you do something totally different. And then you come back and stay within the restriction in bars 7 and 8. So that's, I'll do that now. And I'll do that in C. So here we go. Now free. And thinking about that can help you kind of make a real musical statement where you do something once, you do it again, you go away from it, and then you come back and do it again. Now you've made an 8-bar phrase that has some kind of theme to it. It's not a melodic theme, but it's a rhythmic theme. And that's just as valuable as a melodic theme or a harmonic theme. So try this out, right? And think of other variations that might work for you in the kind of music that you play and the kind of music that you're interested in, kind of musical questions that you're thinking about. See if you can take this exercise into that. And again, if you haven't watched the first video I did where I was talking about starting phrases, I'll include a link here so that you can go back to that. And there you go.